Good morning, children. Today, let us continue with the fourth part of the chapter human reproduction, that is, oogenesis. So, previous class we studied regarding spermatogenesis. So, today, let us see regarding oogenesis, that is, formation of ovum, that you call that as oogenesis. So, here the formation of ovum it starts during embryonic stage itself, that is 25th week of the fetal stage, the ovum formation starts. So the germinal epithelium of ovary it divides mitotically to form oogonia. No oogonia is formed or added after birth. Whatever oogonia to be formed, it is formed during fetal stage itself. The oogonia then later enters into meiosis 1. Oogonia is diploid in condition. It undergoes meiosis 1 and it proceeds up to diakinesis. In meiosis 1, different stages are there: leptotene, zygotene, pachytene, diplotene. The last stage is diakinesis. The diakinesis stage of prophase 1, it enters up to that and get suspended. And this stage you call that as primary oocytes. So the primary oocyte is surrounded by layers of granulosa cells, and now you call that as primary follicle. So when it has few cells, you call that as primary follicle. Then later the primary is converted into secondary and into tertiary follicle. At puberty, about 60,000 to 80,000 primary oocytes will be left in each ovary. After puberty, the primary follicle it gets surrounded by many more layers of granulosa cells. You see here first, these are developing follicles. They have few layer of cells and later surrounded by more layer of cells. So when it is covered by more layers of cells, you call that as secondary follicle, and later secondary follicle transformed into tertiary follicle. Now it will be having the cavity, you call that as antrum. You can see the center, it is marked in light red in color, so that you call that as antrum. Okay, the fluid filled cavity. Now the theca layers organize into inner theca interna and outer theca externa. So during the growth of primary follicle into tertiary follicle, it occurs during puberty. Then the primary oocyte during that time restarts its first meiotic division. So previously it was stopped up to diakinesis stage. It was suspended. Now the suspended condition, it restarts and it completes the first meiotic division within the tertiary follicle itself to form two unequal haploid cells. So here nuclear division will be equal, but the cytoplasmic division will be unequal. So it results in one large haploid cell that you call that as second, and the tiny cell you call that as first polar body. Okay children, so here you can see the polar body formed. So this is the oogonia, primary oocyte, 46 chromosomes, then secondary oocyte. One is bigger, other is smaller. Okay, the smaller one you call that as first polar body and the bigger one you call that as secondary oocyte. Okay, so now the secondary oocyte it contains bulk of nutrients as it is having rich cytoplasm. Now the tertiary follicle is having secondary oocyte. It undergoes further changes and converted into Graafian follicle. You can see in the ovary Graafian follicle. You can see in the developing conditions. So primary follicle, then later secondary, then into tertiary follicle, then Graafian follicle. Okay, so then the secondary oocyte is surrounded by a new membrane that you call that as zona pellucida. Now the secondary oocyte undergoes second meiotic division and it continues up to metaphase 2 and gets suspended, and only the entry of sperm will make to proceed the secondary oocyte to undergo further second meiotic division. Till then it will be stopped there itself. It will be suspended in metaphase 2 condition. At this condition, at this stage, the Graafian follicle, it liberates ovum and this ovulation. Okay, it liberates the ovum and this process we call that as ovulation. On entry of sperm into the secondary oocyte, it stimulates and the completion of meiosis 2. Till then it will be stopped there itself. So then only the secondary polar body also will be formed along with the ovum. Okay. So now let us see all the thing in the form of flow diagram. Primary oocyte that is converted into primary follicle surrounded by layer of granulosa cells, and later more granulosa cells. Primary is converted into secondary follicle, and then secondary follicle matures, converted into tertiary follicle. Here you can see clearly theca externa, theca interna, antrum, then liquor folliculi, and the tertiary is converted into Graafian follicle. Now meiosis 1 is completed, and the Graafian follicle, it contains secondary oocyte and polar body will be released, and the metaphase 2, in that condition it will be stopped. Now in this condition, in this stage, it will be having the layers zona pellucida and corona radiata in the ovum, surrounding the ovum, and during that condition it gets ruptures. Okay, and that can you call that as ovulation. Means the liberation of ovum, you call that as ovulation. Okay, children. So now the oogenesis already we studied. I shown you the diagram. So here the oogonia into primary oocyte, then secondary oocyte, primary 46 chromosomes, secondary 23 sets, that is no 23 not sets, 23 chromosomes will be there. The number is reduced into half. Then later on the entry of sperm stimulated by the sperm cells, the meiosis 2 will be completed. So when the meiosis 2 is completed, and results in the production of ovum and the second polar body. Okay, children. So now the diagram given in the book, in your NCERT book, this is spermatogenesis and this is oogenesis. You see the hormonal control, hypothalamus, it produces GnRH, that is gonadotropin releasing hormone. It acts upon pituitary gland, and pituitary gland, it produces two hormones. So one is follicle stimulating hormone, other is luteinizing hormone. Both of them act upon the ovary, and it makes the ovary to produce ova and the hormone, that is estrogen and progesterone. Okay, so now let us see the few differences between spermatogenesis and oogenesis. Oogenesis starts at embryonic stage itself, but spermatogenesis, it starts at puberty. The polar bodies are formed only during oogenesis, but not during spermatogenesis. At the end of oogenesis, only one ovum is formed. So here 4 sperms will be formed. Okay, so these are main differences between spermatogenesis and oogenesis. So here once again, hormonal control can be asked separately in 3 marks, and the ovum formation, that is the oogenesis, can be asked separately in 5 marks, and sometimes differences also can be asked in board exams. Okay, children. So go through this. So main difference between oogenesis, spermatogenesis. Oogenesis is completed only on the entry of sperm, but spermatogenesis is not like that. It is completed automatically.